Hello everybody, what's up? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African Superstar. I'm here in a moderately cold day here in the UK, as you guys can see. This is one thing about this country. It's a very beautiful country, although it's like really cold. And when I say it's really cold, I'm being kind of facetious because I used to experience more harsh winters in Ohio than I experience here. But I mean, basically at the end of the day, when it's cold, I'm not feeling it. This is actually the grounds. You see, it stays green. That's one of the critical differences. It doesn't stay green in Ohio, like the grass dies and everything dies, and then spring it comes back. Here, it stays green all year long. But anyway, that's a sidebar. Gina Ifoe, the African Superstar. I want to talk about the difference between marriage material and the side piece. Now, people are going to get hype off the title because, you know, I don't typically talk about a lot of relationship related things and things like that. I mean, I am going to talk about some of those things, but kind of in relation to our relationship with the West, you know, the diaspora's relationship with the West. When you think about marriage material, matter of fact, many of you guys have probably even used that term at one time or, you know, one point in your life or another. You're talking about something that's stable. You're talking about something that's worthy. You're talking about something that you perhaps want to have long-term, you know, interaction with, a long-term relationship. Marital privileges are definitely different than side piece privileges. People have often asked me, you know, Gina, you know, I can't believe that you don't have children and, you know, you're single and all these various things, and kind of ask me why I'm still in this position. And I guess at the end of the day, it has a lot to do with this very analogy. I know that I'm a certain caliber of woman. I know what I deserve. I know what is required. And I'm not necessarily willing to settle for anything less than being treated as marriage material, or being treated as the one that has the commitment, as the wife, as the number one, so on and so forth. Now, when we talk about side piece, okay, for some of you guys that don't know slang and stuff like that, a side piece is like your side chick. You know, maybe you're the person you hook up with in the dark and you never really build any type of relationship with this kind of person, and you don't have any long-term plans with them. Maybe it's fun, maybe it's convenient, maybe, you know, whatever. This person a lot of times will be very loyal to you, but you're just not invested in the situation. Now, let me bring it all in for you guys. Okay? We are definitely marriage material in general as a people. However, we get treated as a side piece in the West. Okay? Many of us born and raised outside of our homeland of Africa, we do not get access to the same rights, the same treatments, the same education, the same, you know, ability to pursue our wildest dreams. We don't get that access in the West. And that's what being a side piece is. You know, especially when you are like loyal to someone, when you love someone, you know, in the case of those of us that are born and raised outside in America or Europe, you know, we work in these countries. We live in these countries. We pay taxes in these countries. Some of you guys are patriotic to these countries, not me, but some of y'all are. You know, you invest yourself, you kind of identify with that country's ideology and things like that, and you don't get anything in return. You might as well be a side piece. You know what I'm saying? You don't come out in the daylight. They don't represent you. You know, they don't say, oh, you know, this is American. This is a British. They want to say, oh, this is a, you know, this is an African American. This is a Black American. This is a, you know, mixed race person with Caribbean descent, or whatever titles they want to give you. In other words, to tell you that, hey, you're not indigenous to this land. You say to them, well, you know what? My family's been living here. You know, I've never even been outside of this country. A lot of you guys have previously been in that situation or currently in that situation where, you know, obviously your ancestors came from elsewhere, but you don't have any connection to that land. So in your eyes, and by all intents and purposes, where you live and where you're born at should be your home. Guys, I want to encourage you not to accept anything less than the marital privileges that come with the real, you know, relationship. the things that we continually struggle with in the West, you know, the things that we continually have issues with, which really are basic human rights. You know, the ability to walk the streets freely, speak our mind, not be fearful, not fear for our safety or interactions with the police, racism, you know, all the various things that Black people are dealing with in the Western environments. You're not being treated like the wife or the husband. You know what I'm saying? Any of you guys have had extramarital relationships, or, you know, you've gone out, cheated on a partner. You guys know that, you know, usually there's so many slangs for it, but, you know, your main squeeze, you know, your main one, you know, if you guys are married, it will be your husband or wife. You guys know those people have access to all the privileges. You know, even if you have a side piece, they don't get the same level of access. You know, sometimes the spouse knows that they're being cheated on, but because of the positioning that they're in, they just tolerate it because they say, you know what? Yeah, I know he's got side pieces, but guess what? I live in the house. I'm the wife. We have children together. I have all the assets. I have access to this and that. I know his secrets. You know, he's not going to divorce me. She's not going to divorce me. We're going to maintain our relationship. That side piece is going to come and go. You know what I'm saying? I want to challenge you guys to understand and value yourself more. At the end of the day, this is the reason why I can't just settle for nonsense. You know, like I said, I know for a fact I'm a very, very high caliber woman. Why would I allow someone to treat me less than my standards? You know, there's a lot of Black American women, for instance, that have been confronted with this very same issue. They have nobody guys, you know, guys that are just like useless, you know, non-productive, you know, non-stable, not strong men, you know, just demeaning and degrading women that are very, very accomplished and have a lot of potential. And I refuse to be put in that situation. You know, I choose to have relationships with mature people. You know, I choose to have relationships with people that are confident in themselves and can treat me appropriately. And it's not like I'm high maintenance and I need the sun, moon, and stars from them. But I just need someone who is of, what do they call it? Equally yoked. You know, someone who I can see eye to eye with, someone who I can, you know, converse with, somebody who I can have a good time with, someone who is, you know, going to show me affection and, you know, kind of minister to my emotional needs and things like that. I'm not just going to take anything because I'm not a side piece. I'm not a side piece girl. I'm not the kind of girl where you can say, you know what, look, this is all I got and you better take it. No, I will bounce on you quick. You know, and in other words, that's why I bounced on the States, because the States told me, hey, look, yeah, we know that you're wife material. We know you're marriage material, but we're going to keep treating you like the side piece and you just got to take it. That's all you can do. And I'm like, but no, I'm not going to take it. You know, and as I continue to make my journey to the motherland, I always feel so comfortable in Africa. I always feel like I belong. You know, people treat me with respect, and I love that. I don't worry about my safety. I don't worry about racism. You know, I get to enjoy a nice environment where I'm surrounded by my people, where I'm constantly seeing images of Black families and Black love. And, you know, it's just like, yeah, this is it. This is where I want to be. You know, and God forbid I took the side piece option. God forbid I said, you know what, hey, this is all that I can really expect in the West and America. You know, this is how life is. And I just need to leave it alone. I was like, no. You know, and I was like, I'd rather just be alone. You know, some of you guys are like that. I'd rather just be alone than be mistreated. You know, for those of you that are taking the second class citizenship, third class, fourth class, fifth class citizenship treatments in these Western environments, you need to evaluate yourself and value yourself more. Because I used to see that this was something that was especially annoying to me. I would see how white people just get over in society constantly. Especially white women. I would see how in the workplace, they're nowhere near as assertive as us. They can't multitask. They can't even communicate half the time with their teammates. And, you know, they will keep getting promoted, getting more pay. I will watch the most sloppiest, disgusting, unattractive white woman bag the super hot, you know, Black dude with the body. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be thinking, like, what kind of like foreign place is this? You know, and then meanwhile, there's bad, you know, excuse my language, but there's bad bitches out here that can't get no play at all. And we're taking a second, you know, it's like everything's reversed. You know, at a point there, you know, those people that should be side pieces are getting elevated and put on pedestals. And those people that should be the, you know, the marriage material, the people with all the potential and longevity, intelligent, beautiful, you know, all the accolades, they're getting sidelined for these no caliber people. It's insane. I'm not going to accept it. You know, and if I'm honest, and those that are close to me know what I'm saying. You know, my standard in the relationship area, you know what I'm saying? I don't mess with that. Because a little bit of life advice, and I'm going to get off this topic. When it comes to relationships, okay, people oftentimes choose unwisely. And when the problems begin to unfold in their life, you know, it comes as some kind of big, huge surprise. But oftentimes when, from the outside looking in, people can see you going down that path. One of the things that I refuse to do is take kind of like a lackluster man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take a man who I'm enthralled with. You know, like every day, I just like want to see him. Like I enjoy his company. Like, I don't even care if he hasn't had a haircut or whatever. Like I just love him. And you know, I'm that kind of person. I'm that kind of person that either I take to you or I don't. So I'm not one of those people that's like, oh well, you know, that's how it is when you first meet people, and then you know, the novelty wears off. I'm not that kind of person. Either I take to you right away, you know, so essentially I might as well say when I meet you, I love you or I don't. And that's how it's always been. That has always been for me. So I've been always very careful to make sure that I have that sensation when I'm picking romantic partners, you know, to make sure that I'm going to be invested in the relationship. I'm always going to be interested. You know, the attraction is never there. And the attraction is never lost. And if a lot of us are honest, when we have like those childhood loves and stuff, or that first love, that college love, you know, I know some of y'all can't say because y'all are married to other people and you guys are in other relationships. But if we're honest, like with that real true love, even if it's toxic love, even if it's, you know, the relationship is just tumultuous, you love that person for life. You never stop loving them. You know, you never get unattracted to them. Like there's always something that pulls you back. That's what is important to me. You know, but most importantly, I've learned in my adult years, it's important for my partner to also have that same feeling for me. You know, you don't want to be in a one-sided love. You don't want to be in a situation where, you know, you're the one giving everything. You're the sacrificer. You know, you don't mind your financial responsibility in the relationship. And then when you actually evaluate, your partner's not doing anything. They're not contributing. They're not investing. You know, they don't really want to be there. The sacrifice is not, you know, and when we talk about relationships, the sacrifice is never going to be equal. Sometimes it ebbs and flows, and sometimes you guys got to pick up the slack. So sometimes when my man is struggling, I got to be there to uplift him. And then when I'm struggling, he needs to be there to uplift me. It's not always 50-50 every day. That's just an immature mentality. You know what I'm saying? It ebbs and flows just like everything else in life. But when you're committed to your partner, you just pick up the slack when it's your turn to give and take, whatever. So, you know, that is how I feel. You know, I've learned over years. I've had deep loves for people that didn't reciprocate it. And then, you know, people have also have deep loves for me when I'm not interested. But unlike some of you guys, I don't string them on. You know, I let them know up front, hey, this is what it is and this is what it is. And especially when that person's a nice person or a good person, I don't want to break their heart. So I just have to be honest and let them know that, hey, this is not going to work. But, you know, aside from all of that, guys, the new year is coming up, and I wish many, many of us happy, healthy, loving relationships, especially those of us that are turning our eyesight on the motherland. You know, our eyesight on the motherland. I pray that those doors open for us because we are marriage material. We deserve family. You know, we deserve love. We deserve companionship, and not this like negative, you know, unhappy relationships that are not fulfilling. You know, the kind that like the kind of, soulmates, people that love each other, people that can overcome challenges because of their love for each other or the love for their family, their children. We deserve that. That's part of our heritage. We come from strong families. There's been a breakdown in the West of families, but I don't think that it's beyond reproach. I don't think that we can't address it if we consciously choose to, but it starts with choosing the right partner. And what that means is, if you're marriage material, don't settle for being the side piece. Don't settle for it in relationships, and don't settle for it figuratively in your environments. You guys know when you guys are the stuff. And when they're giving you the shaft. And when you're not getting fully treated well. If it's a relationship and you start getting treated like that, some of y'all be like, okay, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to stop calling you. I'm not going to return your text. I'm going to block you on Facebook. I don't want to talk to you no more because you don't treat me right. It's no different than how these countries dog us out. You know what I'm saying? These countries dog us out and they say, yeah, but you got to take it because you don't have no options. That's how they treat us. Because if they were really trying to retain us, that's not how they would treat us. If they wanted to retain us, if they wanted to treasure us or cherish us, their whole attitude and demeanor would be different. Basically, they abuse us because they feel like they have a monopoly on where we live and what we do in our future. We got to turn the tables on these jokers. Real talk. So I was actually having this thought about this analogy this morning when I was thinking about some upcoming exciting news, but I'm just glad that I waited for high quality. I'm glad that I never settled for a life that I didn't want and that wasn't pleasing to me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to go through the journey, and sometimes it's long. Sometimes you have problems. For instance, I've had relationship problems for probably the better part of a decade. I got married. I didn't have a happy marriage. After I got divorced, I dated a few people. It didn't work out with them. I moved to a new country. I just kept going through losses in that area. But I'm very, very optimistic about the promise that the motherland holds in that department, so we'll see what happens. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.